The observation deck of the Crithian Fang hummed with the low growl of anticipation. Kai stood at the viewport, her juvenile mane still soft with youth, watching the human vessel drift helplessly in the void. The freighter's engines were dark, its hull scarred from the precision strikes her pack had delivered. "The human still lives," growled Commander Vex, his battle-worn face twisted in satisfaction. "Shall we finish this quickly?" Kai's ears flicked forward, her golden eyes never leaving the crippled ship. "No, bring her aboard. I want to see the fear in her eyes before we claim our trophy." The Crithians were apex predators, their species having conquered 12 star systems through sheer ferocity and technological superiority. They respected strength and they showed mercy to no one who displayed weakness. Humans, the newest spacefaring species to stumble into their territory, had been labeled prey from first contact. 20 minutes later, they dragged Seren onto the observation deck. Blood matted her dark hair, and her left arm hung at an unnatural angle. Her uniform was torn, exposing burns along her ribs. Yet despite her injuries, she walked on her own legs, refusing to be carried. Kai circled her slowly, claws clicking on the metal floor. "Your species is weak. You have no natural weapons, no armor, no instinct for the kill. Why do you even venture into the stars?" Serene lifted her head, meeting Kai's gaze with startling directness. Most prey looked away. "We venture because we're curious. We explore because it's in our nature." "Curiosity," Kai spat the word like venom. "That is the philosophy of those destined to be consumed." The young Crithian stepped closer, baring her fangs. She had lost her mother to a human mining operation. An accident, they claimed, but Kai knew better. Humans were careless, destructive, and they would pay. She would make her first true kill today, and she would make it memorable. "Hit her," Kai commanded. Vex struck Seren across the face with the back of his paw. The human staggered but didn't fall. Blood trickled from her split lip. "Again," Kai said, her voice cold. Another blow. Seren dropped to one knee this time, coughing. But when she looked up, there was something in her eyes that Kai didn't recognize. Not fear, but something harder. "Something ancient, is that all?" Seren whispered, her voice hoarse but steady. "Because if you're going to kill me, you should know something first." Kai's tail lashed with irritation. "You have nothing to say that interests me." "I have a son," Seren continued, ignoring the interruption. "He's 7 years old. His name is Marcus, and when you hit me just now, all I could think about was him." "Sentiment is weakness," Kai growled. "It will not save you." Seren actually smiled, though blood stained her teeth. "No, you don't understand. I wasn't thinking about how much I'd miss him. I was thinking about what I need to survive this so I can get back to him. And I was thinking about how many of you I'll have to go through to make that happen." The observation deck fell silent. Several Crithian warriors exchanged glances. "Hit her again," Kai commanded, but her voice wavered slightly. "And we'll wear your teeth as bands, human." Vex raised his paw for another strike, and Seren moved. Despite her injuries, despite the broken arm and the burns and the blood loss, the human moved with shocking speed. She swept Vex's legs with her good arm, using his own weight against him. As the massive Crithian crashed to the deck, Seren rolled, her hand finding the plasma knife on his belt. The blade ignited with a hiss of superheated energy. "I didn't want this," Seren said, rising to her feet. Her voice was different now, flat, emotionless, professional. "I'm a cargo pilot, not a soldier. But my species didn't crawl out of caves and survive ice ages and predators and plagues by giving up when things got hard." 3 Crithian warriors lunged at her simultaneously. Serene moved like water, like something primal had awakened in her broken body. The plasma knife traced arcs of light through the air. The first warrior fell, clutching his throat. The second collapsed with a severed tendon. The third hesitated, and that hesitation cost him his life. Kai watched in frozen horror as this supposed prey creature carved through her pack. Humans had no claws, but they didn't need them. They had created weapons. Humans had no natural armor, but they had adapted to wear it. Humans had no fangs, but they had something far more dangerous. They had the absolute refusal to accept death. Seren stood among the fallen warriors, breathing hard, the plasma knife steady in her hand. She locked eyes with Kai. "You wanted to see fear in my eyes," Seren said quietly. "But you're a cub. You don't understand what fear really means. Fear isn't what stops you. It's what drives you when you have something worth surviving for." Kai's legs trembled. Every instinct screamed at her to run, but pride held her in place. "You're one human. You're injured. You'll die here. Maybe, Seren acknowledged. But so will you. And everyone on this ship, because that freighter you disabled, it's carrying antimatter coolant cells. They're already destabilizing. In about 3 minutes, this entire sector is going to light up like a supernova. She tilted her head. Unless someone very smart gets to an escape pod very quickly. The color drained from Kai's face. You're bluffing, am I? Seren's smile was cold. There's one way to find out. For a long moment, they stared at each other. Predator and prey, cub and mother, warrior and survivor. Then Kai's nerve broke. She turned and ran, her voice echoing through the ship. Abandoned ship. All crew to escape pods. Serene watched her go, then staggered toward the emergency bay. Her legs barely held her weight, but she forced them to move. One step, then another. She had lied about the antimatter. There were no destabilizing cells. But fear was a weapon too, and humans had mastered it long before they reached for the stars. As her pod jettisoned into the void, Serene whispered to the darkness, I'm coming home, Marcus. Mommy's coming home. Behind her, the Crithian Fang erupted in chaos, its crew abandoning ship in panic. And in the cold silence of space, humanity had taught the predators a lesson they would never forget. Never underestimate the desperation of a parent fighting to get home.